credit card scores are a scam. Let me tell you why. Let's jump into it. These are just my thoughts and the reason why I feel this way. Um, Basically, I'm a financial coach, and my idea of a credit score and why people need to stop chasing them is this reason. Credit scores go up and down. There's different scoring models from the Vantage score to the FICO score. Industry leaders use whatever their pockets can afford. So when it comes to a credit score, stop chasing them. You need to work on your credit profile, your financial profile. That's the best thing for you if you're listening to what I'm saying. The reason why I feel credit scores are a scam because I was part of the 850 club for several years. It took me a while to get there. Now, I'm not going to say it's an overnight success because I was that person who bounced checks, didn't understand finances, didn't understand what it meant buying a house, didn't understand interest rates or any of that. So when I started learning finance and I went to school to become a financial coach, I realized credit scores are a scam. Credit scores are something that, number one, they judge us by. And remember, all a credit score tells the lender is you pay bills or you don't pay bills. That's all that credit score is for, outside of what you might get when it comes to an interest rate. Okay. Now, when you heard me say I was part of the 800 club for a while, I knew something was funny when I first paid off one of my vehicles, and I was at 850, like I said, and I paid my vehicle off and I dropped down to a 730. I said, hold on now. I was 850 and I dropped down to a 730 because I paid my vehicle off? Yes. You got to remember, credit scores are based off what you got going on right now, depending on what model they use. The Vantage score 3.0 or the 4.0, they go by a few months, 2 to 4 months. A FICO score goes by about 6 months to 2 years. They want to see the long history that you have, okay? So that's the difference between the two. That's why the industry leaders like to use FICO, because it's a longer history that you can't hide. Now, I paid my bills on time. When I would use my credit card, I would pay them off before or by the due date in full. So I always kept my utilization under 10%. I wasn't that 30% person. I was that 1% or 10% person. You know what I'm saying? So, but what I also did when it came to my credit cards, I stacked up enough credit cards to have a big pot of money. So no matter what I got to 30, 50, 100, I was never that close to it anyway. So I was smart enough to do my stuff that way. But what I'm trying to say to you is this. Everybody doesn't use their credit cards responsibly. But I've been seeing so many videos about people who owe loans and owe money, and they feel like they shouldn't have to pay the money back, especially grown-ups. If you knew you went out there to get a car loan, or you knew you went out there to buy a house, or you know you got a star credit card, a store credit card or whatever, come on now. You used it, pay the bill. Don't listen to a lot of these people who tell you, oh, you can go get that moved off your credit report by saying it was fraud. It's not fraud if you did it. I can understand if I took your credit card and used it, yes, it's fraud. But if it's something you did, why would you dispute something that you did? So you listening to these people, and it may work. It might work. You might better call these credit bureaus and excuse me, they remove stuff. You call the credit, collection agency. Now I agree with that one. Now I agree calling with the collection agency and asking them, hey, show me the proof. Show me that I owe you the money. You know what I'm saying? Never volunteer information about, well, yeah, I owe Dr. Green or I owe, such. Never volunteer that information. What I'm saying is get the credit collection agents to prove that you owe them the money because you didn't sign a contract with them. So why you got to pay them? You see what I'm saying? Just because they were stupid enough to go buy somebody's debt don't mean you have to pay them unless they can prove it. Now that I agree with, but you calling a credit bureau or a credit or consumer agency and tell them that, hey, that wasn't me and you know it was you, that's fraud. So stop listening to these people about that crazy mess, all right? Because it's going to come back and haunt you. You remember, when somebody repairs your credit, they are repairing it in your name, not their name. They're repairing it in your name. So when these FBI and the IRS and everybody come back to figure out what's going on, they're coming at you. not the person who you paid to help you repair your credit. Keep that in the back of your mind. You know what I'm saying? They're not telling y'all that part. If anything is found to be fraudulent or wrong, they're coming after you, not them. They're just representing you as a third party. Okay? Now, with that being said, the reason why you hear me say credit scores are a scam is because, like I just told you, I alluded to earlier in the video, I paid off my vehicle, my credit score fell. I'm like, why? I still pay my bills on time. I still do what I need to do. Well, come to find out, they cannot score you if you ain't paying on nothing. So the worst people that they run into is the new beginners who don't have a credit score and older people who have paid off. Now, I'm going to say just older people, but people who have paid off all their bills. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a credit history because you're not paying on anything. In their mind, the more you're paying on something, the more they can keep looking at what you're doing. So it's a scam in the sense of keeping other people paid just so they can judge you based off the history you have with them. That's all it is. It's just a way to see if you might possibly pay them. But they still don't know if you're going to pay them or not. Just a possible situation of what you might do. And then, like I said, when it comes to the interest rates, the higher your credit score is, the better your interest rate might be. Don't fall for that either. Now, recently, something went into my collections. I haven't had stuff in my collections in almost 20 years. And I happened to look, it was a student loan that should not have been there. The student loan, in my case, the student loan should have been paid by the VA. It wasn't the VA fault. The school closed and they never sent, I guess, the proper paperwork to them or whatever. But the VA paid for my school. But when I looked at my credit report, which I recommend you check your credit report, if not every month, every couple of months. Now, I'll check mine religiously, okay? So I will put a comment down below where you can get yours for free, your credit report, so you can start checking your stuff, all right? And do the same for your kids. Check your kids because just because they may not have done it, somebody could have used their social security number. So you want to check yours and your child's. But anyway, so I check my stuff and I see that my stuff done went down again to 735 this particular time. Now, this is years later from the first time I paid my car off. I'm looking at what I looked at a few days ago, and I'm down to 735. And I'm like, why? What is going on? Then I look, like I said, it was the American whatever education service. So I called them with their collection agency. And if you don't know the right things to say to a collection agency, do not call them if you don't know what to say. So a selfless plug, give me a call, drop me an email. I can tell you what you need to say to them to keep yourself from saying too much. But anyway, so I asked the proper questions. They told me what I needed to do. I sent them my VA paperwork. I'm waiting the time. It can be from 30 to 45 days before you see a change. I know that you keep hearing people say 30 days is what it needs to be for you can see an update. You got to put in the calculations of when you mailed it, how long it's been in the mail, once they get it, once they look at it. So give it 45 days. Give it about 2 months just to be accurate, okay? Don't think about the 30-day rule. Give it about 2 months, 60 days, just to give it give you an idea of what's correct, okay? Now, if you don't see that change in that period of time, then let's talk about it. I'm not going to say not to dispute stuff online. Sometimes disputing online is good. Sometimes it's bad. I prefer sending stuff in the mail so you can track it, okay? I don't do credit repair, but I teach you how to read your credit report. I teach you to look for the things that you need to look for, and I tell you what things that shouldn't be on there. That's all I do. I do not do credit repair. Now, I'm not going to keep rambling because I like to keep my videos 10 minutes or less. So what I'm trying to say to you is that's the reason why I feel credit scores are a scam. They help you, but they hurt you at the same damn time. So with that being said, I'm your boy Gary B, aka Uncle G. And like I say in all my videos, I do the research, I live the life. You just gotta follow. I'm your boy. I'll holler at you in my next video. Peace.